New setup for all.
Innovative.
You're a South American soccer coach.
Questions for Jared? Well, I guess, why is Sam Walensky back in the lineup and what can he see?
Well, he's back in because we just lost a handful of games and he's taken a break and had a reset, and I want to see him play a good solid 200-foot hockey game. He's got to get involved in the offensive side of it. I think he can help there. He's got to be a solid defender, puck mover.
I think C-Mac was just on the radio and he said that it feels like the top four guys have been overtaxed a little bit. How much does Sam Walensky singularly help fix that if he's playing well?
If he's playing well, he can help. Yeah, because you can use him in ozone starts where I think he can help continue to create offense for our team, which is very important, especially when you're playing a stingy team like Winnipeg. All of our guys can help if they're all playing well. You know, if we're playing well and as a group, of 20, then we don't have to tax our top guys as much.
Is the recent setback to Val Nichushkin, is this something that's kind of becoming more of a worry that can linger on all season, or is this just a little blip in the road?
I don't know about all season. I just think, whenever you have a setback, you kind of work backwards, start from the ground up again, start building back up. And so, but any time without Val is worrisome, and we don't know. We don't have a solid timeline on his return.
Coach, this has been a bit of an up and down homestand. You guys have played well, not gotten the results. You guys have not liked the way that you played, gotten the results. What's the message going into this one to close out a 5-game?
Need everybody. That's the problem with our game here recently for me is one night McKinnon's line's playing really well, then the next night it's Middlestead. We haven't put the whole package together in this homestand, even on the win. The mini game, I think, was the last game where I was in mini, where I felt like everyone was firing on all cylinders. It was a great game for us after a tough loss of kind of the same inconsistencies against Chicago. But we're at the point of the year, it's a rough stretch against top opponents in our division and in our conference, and the reality of it is we need everyone to play well on every night in order to win, and we got to start pushing towards that again.
So just for clarification, so was Val, would he be week to week now?
Week to week, yes.
Do you think Hellebuck has played better this regular season than he did in the playoffs, or is it more about this group not challenging him enough this regular season as they did in the playoffs?
Well, against us, he's played great, and also the second option on some nights. I think our best game against them was the 1-0 game. They scored early. It was a really good hockey game. I liked the chances we created. He was outstanding. Our goalie was outstanding. We lost 1-0. The last 3-0 game in their building, we didn't do enough, and when we got chances, he was great. So, he is a top goalie in the league, but it's not I think if you ask Winnipeg's coaching staff and management team, it's not just him. They're number one in the league in suppressing scoring chances, and they're off the rush, off the D zone. They're not going to give you any space. You're going to have to go earn everything you get and then some, because when you do earn something, you got to beat Hellebuck, right? And so they take a tremendous amount of pride in it. It's where their game's improved to. It's why they're the top team in the league again at this point this year.
That's because they're so good through the neutral zone when
Yep.
they're at their best in Winnipeg. Does that maybe force you to tweak the way that you would try to get to the neutral zone or maybe even attack the offensive zone?
Yeah, a little bit. But I still think there's a lot of me that says it's still a simple game, right? And it's been explained to me by great coaches my whole life, and I've taken a lot from them. It's that if you can't get through the neutral zone, you have to place the puck in. And then if you want to win, play in the offensive zone, you're going to have to win that battle. So, to me, it becomes the competitiveness of the game when you're playing a rock-solid defending team, and your puck decisions become ultra important, right? So there's no room to skate, so you can't expect it to be an easy game. If you have to put the puck in the left corner in the offensive zone, you got to get numbers on, you got to win it, and then you're going to have to compete for every inch ice in the offensive zone. So races, battles, competitiveness, you can't rest. You can't rest. If you rest, you're one and done in the offensive zone all night. And if you're resting in the D zone, they're going to spend a bunch of time because they're willing to grind. Like, that's the mentality of their team. They're going to make it hard on you in all three zones. And if you're not willing to sort of push back and do the same thing, then you're not going to win.
Wondering when you have a team like the Jets that are coming off their game Monday where their coach kind of lit them up a little bit publicly,
Yeah.
called it embarrassing,
Yeah.
and a few other. Does that almost, your expectation that they're going to come out kind of trying to rectify that even more so?
Listen, like, my take on it is, from an outsider looking in and looking at the way they play, you're going to have games where you're bad. It's an 82-game season, right? It's a marathon. Like, we played multiple games in the last 2 weeks that we're bad at, but we're still pushing to make sure we're at our best tonight to try and win, right? They take a lot of pride. Like, as coaches, you hang on to the losses, and the losses bug you more. Like, you expect to win every night, and you expect your team to play well in every night, and when they don't, you get mad, and the players get mad, and you get frustrated. Will they play hard? Yeah, I expect them to bounce back to their best game again. It's up to us to go beat them, you know? Like, it's whether they're coming off a big win or a big loss, you're still expecting the other team to play their best game. I think if you want to win, you have to expect to play your best game to beat them.
Coach, what's impressed you with Ross Colton to keep him up on that top line with McKinnon and Rantanen?
Well, I think he provides something. He's been gritty. He's been a hound on the forecheck. He goes to the net hard. I think he's making good puck decisions and making plays in all three zones. He's using his skating. Haven't loved that line, over the last couple of games, so we'll see about tonight. But I think that, he can provide something to that line similar to Lecky, Val, Landy in the past, and it's what that line needs. They need a little grit, and they need somebody to go to that front because they like to play with the puck a lot, and they need someone to check it back off the forecheck, so he should be a fit there.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.
In front of him, try to get him moving side to side, good puck movement. But I think biggest thing is probably traffic in front of him. It's for every goalie, if you can't see the puck when it leaves the D-man stick from the point, or if you can't see the shot leave, it's really harder to save. And maybe the games this year, he's been doing a good job, obviously, and we haven't maybe given him enough traffic.
Do you think, based on the fact that you were able to solve him in the playoffs, that maybe this regular season he's been better than he was in the playoffs?
Well, yeah, I think so. I think he was. He's been better for sure than in the last April, but he's a good goalie. Like he won Vezina, or two of them. I don't know how many he has, but I'm probably gonna win another one this year. So he's doing something right for sure. I can't point to one thing why last year in the playoffs we were able to score a lot behind him, but he's a good goalie. So we just gotta try to figure it out and get a lot of shots.
It sounds like Val suffered a setback, an injury setback, and so it might be a little longer. I guess it just seems like, what's your message to a teammate when they're going through like that?
Well, yeah, he's a veteran guy. Obviously, he knows how to handle those situations, but it's not fun. I've been there too. You feel like you're getting back and feeling better, and then something happens, and so it's mentally it's probably the toughest part. The rehab is you have to do it to get back, but mentally it's hard to maybe, that's what I remember from my experience. But he's like I said, veteran guy, so he'll be back for sure.
Playing the Jets is just easy as just grind it out, and just capitalize and wait for that moment. Because your scoring chance is going to be slim, right?
Yeah, for sure. This year it was 3-0 there, 1-0 there, and then the home game was a 1-goal game or two. We scored empty netter, but it's all been tight games and not a lot of scoring. So I'm expecting it to continue tonight. So both teams try to defend hard, and two good goalies going at each other. So it might be 1-0 or 2-1.
Thanks,
Thank you.
How do you guys want to close this one out?
With a win. With a win for sure. These are important points. 4-point game. So, yeah, we got to close it out with a win for sure.
these last couple of games, you've gotten sometimes the result you wanted, but the process hasn't always been there maybe in the last 10. What are you looking to do tonight to make some adjustments?
I think maybe create a little bit more offense at the net. They're a team that's going to pack it in tight, so if we can create as much as we can, get a lot of shots down there, even if they don't get through, just stuff laying around the net, and then solid defensively. Let's limit their chances as much as we can. They're a dangerous team off the rush, but if we can be responsible with our third guy, trapping hard, I think we can nullify a lot of things before it enters the zone, and that's going to help us. So you just want to see that consistent for 60 minutes.
It feels like the biggest thing entering this game against the Jets is trying to pass Connor Hellebuyck. You guys haven't been able to solve him this regular season, dating back to last regular season, but you found a way to figure it out in the playoffs. How do you kind of make sense of that?
Well, I think it's exactly what I said. We have to keep throwing things down there, right? Like I said, they're going to pack it in. So trying to create those chances where he doesn't have a chance to save the puck, right? Like he doesn't know which way it's going to go when it hits something and bounces somewhere, and then we're just jawing on the spot or put it in the back of the net. And I think that's what we got to try and create a little bit more tonight.
It's just a grinded out game. That's to expect. I mean, just wait, to take care of that chance when you finally get it.
Yeah, I think so. Against this team, you definitely have to be opportunistic because they're one of the best defending teams in the league. So the chances you're going to get, they're few and far between. So you definitely have to be ready and put away your chances if you want to have a chance to win against them.
This last stretch in the scheduling, kind of leading up to the Four Nations face-off break, has felt like it's jam-packed a little bit. Have you guys felt a little bit of fatigue setting into your game here recently?
I don't know. I think we're pretty well rested. We're coming off a day off yesterday now, so it's a normal schedule. I mean, there's an excuse every year as to why the schedule is like tight and 3 and 4 and back-to-backs or whatever it may be. So we're used to it. I don't think it makes you any more fatigued than you want to pay attention to, right? If you start letting that set in, then maybe it does affect you. But you just kind of come into every night and just be ready to roll.
Every single night and make that consistent.
Your line has been the most consistent as far as not changing, and Bednar has said that is not going to be a line that you necessarily want to touch. Is it more difficult when you're playing with a lot of different lines shifting around you?
I think it is, but I feel as though guys are mature enough to understand that things are shifting for a reason, and it's trying to find something that works. So it's guys are used to it. I think throughout our careers, things are always bouncing around. Guys are in and out. It's just the way pro hockey is. So it's on us to be mature about it and guys to make it work and just build that chemistry throughout the game. It might not be one shift, 2 shifts, but to just see it be more complete by the end of the game than the start is definitely what you look for.
Logan, sorry if you already talked about it, but it feels like facing the Jets, biggest thing here is trying to figure out Connor Hellebuyck, right, and getting the puck past him. He's shut you guys out now for 3 straight regular season games, but if we look back to the playoffs, you found the way to figure him out and to solve him. How do you make sense of that?
I mean, it's pretty obvious, and I hate to give the answer, but traffic. I mean, anytime you get traffic with goaltenders, it's their least favorite thing. And then I think it's also on us to be less shot selective and take what we're given and make it hard on them with that. I think when you're shooting the puck more, you're retrieving more pucks, you're in the zone for longer, and that's when teams wear down, and then that's when mistakes will happen. So it's on us to get those pucks to the net. They're really good at closing things down in front, good at getting in shooting lanes. So we got to make it a lot more difficult for him and then their core as well. The D-core and the forwards just make it harder on them to defend us.
Do you think this regular season that he's gotten better than he was in the playoffs, or is it maybe that you think your team could make it a little bit more difficult for him?
I think a bit of both. I mean, he's obviously a remarkable goaltender. His accolades speak for themselves. But we definitely have another gear to make it harder on him, and that's what we're going to look to do tonight. I think, like I said, just getting more pucks to the net, traffic screens, deflections, rebounds. I think we're going to be a lot hungrier in those areas, and we're going to come up with more pucks, and then hopefully just generate more chances. And probabilities on your side, the more chances you get, the more than we're going to go in.
Ross was just talking to us about the group needing to start to find some consistency. As a guy who's gone on the deep runs, how do you start to turn that page at this point in the season?
I think it's on us to just build the habits every game. I feel as though we've deviated from them lately and from the structure, and that's when things get out of sync for us and we're on the same page, we're not as predictable to each other. I think that's what it comes down to, just being predictable to your identity as a player, and if you're doing that and your line mates are doing that, then the line can build chemistry, and then you just sort of roll wave after wave, and that's when you build momentum throughout a game. I think that's what we've missed. We've been, one line's going this shift, then take a couple shifts off, and then lose momentum and take a penalty or something. So it's on us to just build it throughout the game. It might not happen in the first period, but as long as you're trending in the right direction and trying to round out a complete game, I think we're going to come out really
So I got here a little late. It sounds like Val had a little setback in his recovery. I guess when you're going through what you went through last year, you want to stay on that timeline. How frustrating is it when you do have a setback or when you have a little bump in the road?
It's always difficult. I think injuries are a hard mental challenge for sure. Everyone wants to be out there. You maybe try and push yourself a little quicker than you probably should, and can result in a setback. And it's just the way it is. It's motivation to come back and help guys out, help the team out. So it's unfortunate what happened to Val. It definitely sucks for anyone going through injuries. Shilly's going through that. Woody's been going through that. So you just try and be there for those guys as a teammate. Keep them around the guys as much as possible. When you're injured, you tend to feel isolated, but you just try and make time when you can to reach out and hope things are going good.
Can you relate? Did you have any setbacks last year when you were coming back, or was it pretty smooth?
Mine was relatively smooth. I think. Mine was a pretty major injury, obviously, but I had the whole summer to sort of get to where I wanted to be. I feel as though there was maybe setbacks to whereas the progression to return to play was maybe slower to get to the speed I wanted to play at. But I didn't personally have any setbacks. It was a pretty smooth process.
Maybe more along the lines of before you had the surgery. It was kind of a roller coaster in between when you got hurt and you had surgery.
Yeah, I went from November to surgery date of dealing with it throughout the whole year. Wasn't exactly playing at the percentage I wanted to be playing at, and that's always difficult too. To leave that you sort of, if you're not playing at 100%, you're a step behind. But just try to manage it throughout the year and do what you can and play through those limitations.
How does the PK gear up for a top power play?
I think we've done a good job lately. It feels as though anytime you can close time and space against a good group, they're prone to make more mistakes. So it's on us to not be hesitant, to stay on our toes. We'll go through the pre-scout and look at their tendencies. And against this group, you really have to be diligent about your sticks and your routes and closing down things with time and space. Any good power play, if you give them a foot here or there, they're going to make plays through you, and that's when it gets difficult. So it's on us to be super diligent and structured within our system and our habits on the PK tonight.
Thank you.